everybody. I am so excited to be here with Sister Donatella today, who many of you may recognize as one of our directors of religious education here at Nativity. Been here for 30 years, is that right, Sister? That's amazing.
I was a little girl
Yes, she's very young. She's only been here for 30 years. So what we're going to talk about today is actually continuing our Vocation series, where you will get to hear stories from our sisters and from our priests here at Nativity about how they felt the call to religious life. And our hope is that you see that before they heard the call, they were just normal people, and they were able to respond to that. So maybe that would inspire some of you to consider your vocation. So Sister, would you like to share your story with us and just kind of your experience?
Yes. Well, first of all, I have to thank my parents for the gift of faith they gave me. I'm the youngest of 5 children, and our parents always encourage us to pray. My mother used to say, when you walk down the street or you play in the playground, instead of just wasting time, pray the Our Father, the Hail Mary, things like that. I didn't do that all the time, but my parents did that, really inculcated me the importance of prayer. So being the youngest of 5 children, we went to Mass every Sunday and said prayers before me and so on. We were a good Catholic family, but not super religious, super. So because I'm the youngest, so my sisters, I have 3 older sisters, and they were engaged, you got married, so my path was to have a family, to continue, and to, have a family of my own. But when I was about 17 years old, I wasn't even thinking about religious life at all. But one day I felt like that God really, really loved me so much. And to me it was like, how can I love him back? How can I return this love? And it was a very brief encounter that I had. And I said, well, the best thing to do is just give my life to Jesus as a sister or not. Well, that was great, So next day, it's like, I'm going to talk to somebody, see if this is really, But, as 17-year-old teenager, and then the next day, I said, like, no, that's not for me. I'd rather, get married, have a family, and so on. That thought stayed with me for a couple of years. And so one day I felt like this is what I really wanted to do. And when I was 20, almost 21, I joined the convent, the sisters were in now.
So it was several years from the time that you first heard that call. Wow.
Right, it was several years from the time, which now I don't regret in a way. I do in a way because I respond to God right away. But I don't regret, because they made me grow and see more of the world and just the family, and just having me give more experience. I felt that I was better prepared to just to join and to make it a commitment. So I entered the convent, and as a postulant, the novitiate, all the training and so on. So here I am now today, many years later.
Yeah, and was your family surprised when you told them?
Yes, my family was very surprised.
Because you mentioned that you were just expecting to get married, have a family.
I never really shared much about that encounter with Jesus.
Yeah.
And they were very supportive. And so even to this day, they just support me a lot, and just have a good relationship with my sisters, my nieces and nephews, and everybody.
And then when you at 21 entered the convent, had you looked at a lot of different religious orders, or were you pretty sure which one you were interested in?
Well, I lived in a small town in Italy, and the only religious community was our sisters, the Hymns of Reparation.
Okay.
And I used to go and visit them a lot. They had a lot of, after school, they had youth groups there too. So I used to go and visit with my friends, and so to me, there was no question which community, because I love the sisters, and that's the sister that I chose right away.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time my friend with three girls, we used to go and visit the sisters, and one of them said, I'll never be a nun, never. And I said, well, if God calls me, I would. And then started laughing at me, like, really? Like, yeah, you are not,
Yeah.
I said, well, if God gave me the vocation, I would. Little did I know that happened.
Right. So you at least had that openness
Yes,
that you were
yeah.
interested. That's so interesting.
So-
Yeah, I always think that's fascinating because I've heard people say before, we're used to, if you're dating someone, you date different people and you try to find your husband. But I think some people assume when you enter a convent, it's not that type of discernment, but it can be, right? You had to find
Yes,
the right.
Yes, but my experience as a religious, the last 40 plus years that I'm in the States, that I've contacted a lot of girls, contacted me, and they come and visit, and they visit different community, different orders, which is good in a way, because, some young people want to be, they look for a community where they fit in, and they feel that the spirit, the joy, the apostolate, the ministry that they do, feel like teaching or nursing and so on. So I think it's great if they visit more than one.
Mhm.
I don't regret that I didn't, because I'm happy where I am. But I think it's great. They just search and ask questions and live with them for a couple of days, a weekend, a week, and see if that's your family, because that's going to be your spiritual family.
That's right. So for sure, if you're watching this and you're a young woman and maybe you are where sister was at 17, where you're thinking like, well, I don't know, maybe this could or could not be, would you suggest that they could reach out to you and
Yes,
ask
they can.
questions?
Mhm.
Because
Yes.
I think, because I grew up here in Burke, I never thought of, oh, we have a convent near us.
Mhm.
I just knew you as sisters from the religious education program, but we have sisters here at Nativity that you
Yes.
could reach out to
They
and
can
talk to.
always come and ask questions, they
Yeah.
can just visit and just, pray with us or eat with us and things
They
like
cook
that.
really well.
Well,
We were
I
just
eat.
talking about this.
We eat well too.
That's a perk. So maybe to kind of close us out, would you, if you were to say one thing that you've really loved about being a sister, would you have a favorite part or just one thing in particular that has just been really special about this vocation?
Well, it's hard to choose one. To me, a sense of belonging to other women and that have share my own spirituality. That's a very special for me, and also supporting each other, like being in the community. It's like supporting each other, and or like my prayer life. Yes, we have private prayer life and so on, but we have a community life. And like there are days when like maybe I don't feel like really praying or saying the rosary, get distracted, but because we pray as a community together, that's incentive to really pray and focus on prayer, rather than it's like, oh, I don't feel like saying the rosary right now, I'll say it tomorrow or say it later on, But being together, you kind of, people think like, but you go to chapel to pray because everybody else is going. No, but once you're there, you get into the prayer. But that's good supporting. But to me also it's important that my response to God, that's important. When I talk, give the same talk to the religious education students, usually 50th graders, because they study vocation time, and I always tell them, and that's something that for all who listening, maybe you're not old enough to make a decision. Maybe you're too young to think like, okay, this is what I want to do, but you're never too young to pray about it, to think about it, and pray every day. Pray, say, God, what is it you want me to do? What's my vocation in life? Is it marriage? Is single life? Is religious life? And yes, down there, you have like 12, 13-year-old young woman that it's not time to make a decision, I want to do this or that. But it's a way of, you pray and you think and you just ask Jesus, what is it you want me to know, what I want to do? Because sometimes I have heard people say, but I want to be a nun. I say, you want to be a nun?
Mm.
Yes, great. But what does
What
God
does
want
Jesus
you to do?
want?
Is that God's plan or it's
Yeah.
God's call? If it is, it's great, but it's not what you want or what God wants you to do. So all these things.
Yeah, that's really good advice, sister. And I'm thinking too for those watching, maybe who are already in their vocation, if they're married or if they're older. I mean, that's great advice for any of us, just
Right.
to pray each day, God, what is it that you want?
Just
us
like
to
some
do?
people say, I want to get married.
Yeah.
Me, when I was
Yeah.
growing up, and I say, I want to get married, I have a family, this is my everything. But God had other plans.
Yeah. Now you have what, couple thousand spiritual children?
Yes.
Here at Nativity. So he gave you those kids, sister, maybe more than you expected.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for
Lost count.
sharing your
Well,
story.
You're welcome, and thank you for inspiring me to do this talk, and well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all for watching, and God bless.
God bless.